Gavin Newsom is what happens when ambition steals your shampoo, runs off with your stylist, and declares itself emperor of the West Coast. He's less of a governor and more of a walking LinkedIn profile wearing a Patagonia vest, speaking in TED Talk riddles, and leaving behind a trail of press releases that say a lot and accomplish nothing. Every time he talks, you get the feeling you're being sold a very expensive, very shiny, absolutely useless candle labeled accountability. The man didn't run for office, he floated toward it on a wave of gel, ambition, and aggressively vague promises about equity. Watching him speak is like listening to a motivational speaker who got lost on the way to a Tony Robbins seminar and decided to wing it. His speeches are masterclasses in saying everything without saying anything, like an AI trained on inspirational Pinterest quotes and corporate HR memos. But somehow it works, at least for him. The state, not so much California under Gavin, isn't. A state's a performance piece. A reality show without the drama arc. It's a place where you can be taxed for breathing and fined 4 plastic straws, while stepping over heroin needles and tents on your morning jog. But don't worry, there's a task force for that. Several, in fact. Each one more confusingly named in the last, and each staffed by people whose only qualifications are knowing how to use synergize in a sentence. Take his COVID response, please. Gavin treated the pandemic like it was a Broadway show. Every new restriction came with a spotlight and dramatic pause. Stay home, stay safe. Unless you're him, of course, then feel free to hit up the French Laundry with your lobbyist buddies while your constituents FaceTime funerals, Do as I say, not as I dine. And when caught, he looked into the camera with those puppy dog eyes, apologized with the sincerity of a soap opera villain, and moved on like nothing happened. Businesses were dying, people were out of work, and Gavin was busy issuing color-coded charts so confusing they required a decoder ring. You couldn't tell if you were in the purple tier of danger or the chartreuse tier of spiritual readiness. Meanwhile, his personal salon visits and elite dinners continued. For the rest of us, curbside haircuts and drive-through baptisms. Then there's the homelessness crisis, or as Gavin might call it, urban resilience opportunity zones. He pumped billions into solutions, which apparently meant handing out tents, needles, and a good luck wave. Homeless encampments exploded. Streets turned into open-air dystopias, but to Gavin, it was progress because now people had slightly nicer tents. It's like repainting the Titanic after it hits the iceberg and calling it innovation. But Gavin's specialty isn't fixing problems. It's announcing commissions to investigate the feasibility of discussing potential solutions. He's the king of the task force, the czar of committees, the wizard of white papers. His office probably has more strategic roadmaps than actual roads, and yet nothing ever seems to get fixed. The problem isn't the fires, the crime, the housing crisis. No. The real issue is that Gavin treats governance like it's a design thinking workshop run by improv actors. The economy, oh boy, California had a $97 billion surplus. That's right, billion, with a B. A once-in-a-lifetime chance to invest, to shore up infrastructure, fix the power grid, maybe help a few small businesses. Gavin saw that money and said, let's throw a party with 50 million invitations. Now we're back in the red. He managed to turn the state budget into a failed crypto startup big hype. No returns. Education under Gavin is a choose-your-own-adventure novel written entirely in buzzwords and passive voice. He talks about equity like it's a magic spell, but kids still can't read. Test scores are lower than a TikTok influencer's tax bill, and teachers are fleeing faster than Californians with moving vans. His solution? More committees, more initiatives, and probably a $40 million grant for an inclusive empathy-based learning curriculum where feelings get graded and math is considered oppressive. You'd think a state with so much money and innovation could get basic things right. But under Gavin, every good idea gets filtered through a machine that replaces practicality with posturing. Climate change. He banned gas cars by 2035 but can't keep the lights on during a heat wave. Don't charge your EVs today, he says, while posing next to one for Instagram. That's the Newsom brand, green energy without the energy. He promised clean air and green jobs, but forest fires still turn the sky orange every year, while Gavin holds pressers in front of burning hills, looking like an actor auditioning for the role of heroic bureaucrat in a low-budget disaster film. And yes, he still has that hair, that shiny, slicked-back miracle of modern chemistry that never moves, even when everything else does. And let's not forget the recall. The people of California said, hey, maybe we should reconsider this guy. Gavin responded by unleashing a tidal wave of fear-mongering. If I go, a Republican might win. And somehow, that worked. He got to stay, and the state got more of the same. More confusion, more taxes, more homelessness, more reasons to move to Texas. Businesses left. Elon Musk bailed. Joe Rogan ran. Hollywood pretended to care and then quietly relocated their film shoots to Georgia. Gavin, unfazed, declared victory. In his mind, leadership isn't about outcomes, it's about optics. If he looks good while saying it, it must be good. Right, he even brags about the state being the 5th largest economy in the world, as if that offsets the fact that a 2-bedroom apartment costs more than most people's annual income and takes 6 permits, 9 inspections, and a prayer circle to renovate. Under Gavin, affordability is a myth, and the middle class is an endangered species. And now, somehow, we're talking about President Newsom. Yes, the man who turned the Golden State into a gold-plated mess thinks he should run the country. He's been traveling to red states like a discount Obama, offering smug lectures on how to do it right, while his own backyard is literally on fire. He debated Sean Hannity and walked away thinking he won. He tweets like a passive yoga instructor and flexes on Florida governors while dodging questions about why San Francisco looks like a zombie apocalypse film with artisanal bakeries. He wants to export California values. The rest of the country responded, "No thanks, we like functioning power grids." But Gavin doesn't hear that. He only hears applause real or imagined. His leadership is a TED Talk wearing a suit. His policies are a screenplay written by a committee of consultants. He governs like he's trying to win a design award, not actually help people. Substance doesn't matter, presentation is everything. And if you dare criticize him, you just don't understand his nuance. This is a man who once said his own response to homelessness was breathtaking. Yeah, Gavin, it is, just not in the way you think. Meanwhile, the crime rate in cities is soaring. Public safety resources are strapped, and Gavin is busy banning plastic bags while ignoring the fact that people are stealing entire retail aisles like it's a Black Friday riot. On loop, he smiles, says something vague about systemic reform, and walks off stage. Problem solved. Transportation. Don't ask. The high-speed rail is still a punchline with tracks. Billions have been spent, and the train goes nowhere, just like most of Gavin's policies. The only thing moving fast in California is the exodus, but somehow, this guy keeps climbing. National media loves him. Maybe it's the hair, maybe it's the voice, maybe they just love watching a man talk circles around reality while pretending to be a beacon of progress. Either way, Gavin's star keeps rising while the state underneath him keeps crumbling, and yet he's still here. Still smiling, still announcing bold initiatives with names like Future Forward Together Now or Californians for Community Synergy. All while people can't afford eggs or gasoline. His policies are Instagram posts come to life. Beautiful, curated, utterly meaningless. If incompetence were an art form, Gavin Newsom would be the Picasso of policy, distorted, expensive, and somehow still in museums. He's managed to alienate conservatives, disappoint liberals, and confuse everyone else in between. He governs by press conference, leads by Twitter, and escapes criticism with a well-timed smirk and a quote about resilience. California under Gavin Newsom is less a state and more a cautionary tale dressed in Lululemon. It's where dreams go to die in traffic, and ambition gets buried under bureaucracy. And yet he wants more. The governorship isn't enough. He wants the whole country. He wants to bring this chaos to every zip code in America. So when he finally announces his run for president, because let's be honest, it's not if but when, just remember, this isn't the man who fixed California. This is the man who curated its decline, made it look cool, and then called it progress. His campaign slogan might as well be, "I ruined paradise. Let me at the rest of it." And the sad part is some people will cheer, because in the age of politics as performance, Gavin Newsom is a star, not a leader, not a builder, but a very well-lit camera-ready soundbite generating star. And if that doesn't scare you, you haven't been paying attention. And still, despite all the misfires, missteps, and magnificent mismanagement, Gavin Newsom walks around like he just discovered fire and invented empathy in the same day. He struts across stages with that confident lean, chin tilted just enough to say, "Yes, I know I'm the future, please clap." Except instead of applause, he should be hearing sirens, because California is practically in a 5-alarm emergency economically, socially, and spiritually. He talks about equity like it's a brand deal. Every other sentence has it: equity in housing, equity in education, equity in mosquito control. The man could drop his keys in a storm drain and give a 3-minute speech on how that symbolizes equity in urban infrastructure access. Meanwhile, the average Californian is trying to figure out why their power bill looks like a mortgage payment and their neighbor is running a fentanyl dispensary out of a tent. But Gavin doesn't see the tents, or the crime, or the school closures. He sees potential, untapped progressive potential that he can sculpt into a campaign ad. If there's one thing he knows how to do, it's sell a crisis like it's a business opportunity. The problem is, he's selling it with your money and solving it with your patience. Even his allies are getting tired. Quietly, of course, because criticizing Gavin Newsom on the left is like yelling during yoga class, frowned upon, disruptive, and likely to get you banned from the brunch group chat. But behind closed doors, Democrats are asking, is this guy actually going to run the country like this, with speeches and hashtags and press conferences that sound like wedding toasts? The answer, probably because Gavin doesn't govern like a leader. He governs like an actor doing an extended audition for a role he thinks he deserves, president. Only instead of a resume, he has headlines. Instead of experience, he has consultants. And instead of results, he has vibes. So yes, Gavin Newsom might very well end up on a national ticket. And if that happens, just know, it won't be because he fixed anything. It'll be because he made enough people feel like he could. He'll sweep into the spotlight, hair perfect, jaw clenched, and tell America what it wants to hear. And by the time anyone realizes what's actually happened, it'll be too late. He'll be on a stage, grinning like a man who just read a poll that says people like his sweater more than his policy, and California will still be burning, broke, bloated, and baffled just the way Gavin left it.